I used to scuff up my cars as a kid. I'd scratch them on the pavement, I'd get the hammer out and put little dents in the car. I would even like burn the cars and melt them in places. So then I was much more proud of my display of automobiles that had scratches and dents and burn marks all over them. What is it now that I'm still fascinated by cars that are roughed up looking? I think it's that childhood connection. Shiny cars they're whatever, they look like how they were at the store still. There's no character of these things. They need to look like they've had some fun and been roughed up and driven. Come on, baby. Smell the fumes? I would just build these scenarios, and for me that was an awesome adventure, and it still is an awesome adventure for me now. I like the aesthetics of original untouched cars because they tell a story. They hold a character that's unique, and that is something that I look for in everything that I do. Not just cars, I look for that in people, I look for that in myself. The old cars are just kind of a visual summary, and appreciating them for where they've been, their stories that they have to tell. The fascination behind that is, I don't know what its story is, but I know that it has one, or else it wouldn't still be here in this condition. Obviously, someone took care of that car for a length of time. There's something unique about that, and to go then find that car and then bring it home and get it running and driving again, you just feel like you're a part of something. You feel that you're now a part of the story. My first car was a 1964 Volkswagen Notchback. I really enjoyed looking for the parts for that car. It led me to so many different places and conversations, and I was corresponding with people around the United States, and that's where my fascination for this just really went wild. And that's what that car probably taught me most, was how to be resourceful, how to network. When I was younger, I used to start looking for parts through club newsletters, in the newspaper, and then I started venturing out and knocking on doors, going to old repair shops. If I saw someone's house that had a lot of old cars around it, I would harass them and ask if I could look around their old cars or something. But I eventually went to Brazil. I came home with 1,000 LPs, couple hundred car parts, all paying excess baggage on the plane. I spent a good solid 10 years just wrapped up in the old VWs. Back in 1997, I bought my first two old Porsche 356s in a package deal, and I immediately fell in love with them. But these cars were pretty trash. I quickly realized these cars are just too far gone for me. I found a 1958 Porsche Coupe in Oregon, and I bought it, and I think it was $7,000. I stopped dealing in vintage everything at this point and just went after old Porsche stuff. I started hitting up old mechanics and repair shops and just asking them, what are you selling? I'll take it. This was fun for me. If I were to just be getting into the Porsche hobby right now, those options aren't available to people like how they were 10 years ago. After I sold my poorly restored 56 Porsche Coupe, and all of a sudden I felt like the Porsche market was going higher and higher by the day. I found another 56 Porsche Coupe, and this one was in a barn, and this one was in very poor shape. Dragged it home, stuck it in my barn. After looking at it for about a year, I realized this car has really cool character, and the best part about this car is in the level of condition to where who cares what you do to it, really? As long as you don't total the car, a dent is not going to make a difference at this point. So why not use this opportunity? This car was just screaming for, hey, I can't get any worse. Drive me somewhat, take me on an adventure. I've been sitting in a barn for 30-something years. I had my friend help me get it going, and next thing you know, this car and I are just out driving everywhere together. Out the old 56 Porsche on these adventures, you never know when this car is going to break down. And you kind of have to be in that mindset of just being okay with it, knowing that I can handle any situation that arises. It doesn't matter if it's an old junky car or a new car, or if it's a good road or a bad road, that nothing's going to stop me from going to where I want to go. Porsche started off testing their cars on dirt roads. This is what they were intended to do. They were proud of that. They were proud of the little cars they were building. What kind of car company does that? That's really cool. And so I'm gonna do the same thing. I don't care. They did it with the test vehicles. I'm gonna do it with mine too. At first, I'm just driving around where I live, but then I start seeing the dirt roads and go, well, I can take this car down the dirt road because you can't tell. It's not like I'm just gonna scratch the paint or something. Going further and further out, gonna break down close to your house or hundreds of miles away. It's the same thing, you gotta fix it, you gotta figure it out. I wanna go see where this car can take me, and that's when I realized, well, there's only one way to find out, and that's just jump in the car, throw a bunch of stuff in it, and just take off. And it immediately felt like I was doing the right thing, getting further and further away from home in this thing. I just felt a new place of experience, a new style of adventuring for me. In an old Porsche, you don't necessarily think of it as an adventure vehicle. That was more for, let's say, your Volkswagen camper bus. Well, why not do that in the old Porsche? What's the difference other than I have to sleep outside the car?
Chasing you around this car for weeks.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. I used to have a speedster.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
While spending some time out in the desert area, Joshua Tree, I hear about that there's a dirt road that goes from the desert up to the mountains in Big Bear. And it's 20-something miles. It goes up 7,000 feet elevation. Even though I've been warned and told that's not a good idea and I probably won't be able to do it, it only makes me want to do it more. Honestly, when I first drove out there, I kind of felt that maybe this was a wrong idea for a minute, and that maybe I was taking things a little too far. I almost have to walk a lot of it to make sure I can even drive up it first, and then clean the road off for everybody to get all the big boulders off of it and everything. About a 1968 Chevy Caprice or Impala. Well, half of it. It's got a V8 in it. Looks like a 327. Automatic power glide 2-speed transmission. It's like what we have here is a real mountain road fine. It's one of those fines where it's just kind of yours if you want to get it out of here, if you're crazy enough. I don't know if I'm taking this one home or not. I don't know how we did it, but we just went through all this stuff. It wasn't that bad. The car just kind of maneuvers around everything and no big deal. Although I don't think I'd want to go up it. Get to snow and there's snow melt and there's some muddy areas, but you can go through the muddy areas as long as you keep your speed up. So every terrain that you come across, you just have to commit and you have to know that you're going to get through it, and you do. So once you get back into this four-wheel drive trail and you're in there about 10 miles, a bunch of four-wheel drive trucks show up. They're shaking their head going like, what, how, what bad turn did you make today to end up out here? And I'm like, no, I'm doing this drive. I actually meant to be out here in this car. And they start laughing, and now they're excited. For the most part, they get a sense of enjoyment out of it. People think that just because you're out on a dirt road somewhere in this car that you're lost. maybe you stole it and you're just looking for a place to dump it or something. Or, you're just some kid on a joyride. You just stole like some guy's collector car. That car really starts to become the car it was built to be when you are out on these dirt roads. I'm so inconvenienced in my car. It has no amenities at all. Being okay with that is such a rewarding feeling. That's what that car is really teaching me when I'm out there, is that you don't need as much as everyone thinks that you do. You really don't. What you need is the experience. And what you need is to feel confident with yourself and your actions and what you're doing. I don't want everyone telling me about what I can't do and telling me what my limitations are, what's wrong or what's right. You just gotta shed all that. You gotta get the car out of the shed and jump in it and tear off into the sunset and see where it takes you. And that's what you should be doing, is just seeing where things take you, that you feel that there is something at the end of that road that you're searching for, that you're excited to find out about. It's some unknown thing. There's hardly a point of the day traveling in an old beat-up car that you're not having fun in some way. Because everywhere you go, people are just amazed that you're there in this thing, and they feel compelled to talk to you. They want to know, and they're asking you questions, and you're telling your story, and then they're like, wow, that's pretty cool. All of a sudden, you just made someone smile, or you just made someone think something different than they were normally thinking. You realize that this road's about over. Now I'm just smiling, and now I just feel great. And now I can kind of hit the dirt road banks and have fun and maybe slosh around some mud pits a little bit and everything else. Going from old desert shacks to actual snow cabins on this four-wheel drive trail, it's just a huge sense of accomplishment. Maybe not the greatest accomplishment ever for mankind or anything like that, but an accomplishment for myself that I felt proud of, and that I had a good day, I had fun. I had no idea it would evolve into where I'm at right now. I feel like it was the best decision I ever made. Just load it all up and go. And just allow it, the things that you want to do and the things that you're interested in, be a part of it. Just kind of setting off and being like, you know what? No, I just want to work on me. It's like momentum. It's like this thing just kind of got me moving again, and I got it moving again, and now we're just all kind of moving together, and all these new possibilities are happening, and I feel like I'm sharing something with people. Having your own identity in the world, kind of like making your little mark, feels really good. But you have to achieve that by having interests and having passions and going towards them. Here, there was this car in a barn that had really no purpose at all, and you take it out of the barn and you give it a purpose. And the funny part is, you think that you're giving that car a purpose, but maybe it's giving you a purpose. Maybe that the person needed to be taken out of the barn more than the car did. It's really easy to not acknowledge yourself and what's important to yourself. And when you feel all of a sudden, whoa, I'm actually acknowledging what I'm interested in, and I'm actually trying to do something about it, that's the big picture. When all of a sudden you feel that you're creating a positive wave of reactions, you're just being the person that you always wanted to be, perhaps. And I can't think of a better thing to do than not only learn how to maintain an old car, but also learn about yourself and what's important to you. It's evolved to an overall passion amongst a lot of different ideas that I had, and now I can pile into one thing. I've become really absorbed into my routine now with this car. It's just becoming such a natural feeling for me to jump in this old car and just take off, and then to stop, take photos, have random conversations. It's becoming my life, and it feels so good to be submersed in your life. It's no longer something I have to think about doing, or, oh, that would be great to do that, or someday I'll do that. I'm just in the moment with it all now. And all of a sudden, all the what ifs and all the I don't knows have all just kind of gone away. I'm just being me, and there's no one else you can really be. So you got to just enjoy it in whatever way you can.